Hey gang, Rod Cumberland, East Coast Lumberjack. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Today's a little bit different twist on things, but we're really going to go down the road on axes. So I'm here at the Stihl Timbersports National Finals. We're in the dressing room. There's Scotty Reed. And of course Ben. We're just getting ready to go take our axes down and test our wood. So we've talked a lot on the channel about handles and about axes and about how to chop and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take us into the depths of my axe box, and we're going to talk about grinds and what chops best. Now, there's a lot of guys that have videos online that talk about the technique to chop, but I'm going to go down that road a little bit further, because basically how an axe chops has a lot to do with how the axe is ground. So this is my axe box. It's been around the world a time or two. And if you look inside of it, this is where all my competition axes are. And I brought 5 with me. We flew out the other day from New Brunswick to Chilliwack BC. So I want to go through some of these axes with you and what they look like. So here's an axe. This is my oldest axe, okay? And this here, it's a chisel grind. And how it works, I want to go over a few parts of it here with you, so I'm going to take a seat here. So, on an axe like this, so obviously our axes are a little bit bigger than most. They're about they're a 5-pound razor blade. I've mentioned that before to guys. But basically on your axe, you have a toe, and you have the heel down here. Okay, this is the bit, or the leading edge, we call it. And then you have a grind out here. So on the end of the axe, it's ground. Now typically most guys, and what we've showed online, is how to put a chisel on the end. But there's a lot more different grinds you can put on an axe, depending on what it's doing and what kind of wood it's chopping. Then of course you have where the eye is. This is the pole or the back of the axe. Now, we never really talk about this part of the axe a whole lot. On our competition axes, there's what we call wings. So this is a cutout, because obviously once the axe penetrates the wood here, all this here will drag through your wood as you're chopping. So it actually slows the axe down a lot. So usually what happens is there's another part of the axe right here along where the bit is, between the bit and the cheek of the axe, where the cheek is. It's called, this is called the bust, okay? So this is the high point. So usually most of our axes are between 13.5 and 16 degrees, depending on what we're chopping. And then that comes back 13 to 15 degrees right to the bust. And then this is actually hollow. So when you lay a flat edge along here, you'll see that it's actually scooped out. Okay, and that's so that steel does not drag going through the wood. And the bust, it actually allows the bust to blow your chip out. Okay, so we're going over a lot of stuff here, but a lot of guys, we focus on the edge out here, but in all honesty, this part of the axe is just as important. So the wings take out, and these are ground down a lot. If I actually hold the axe up this way, you can see those wings are taken out quite a bit. Okay, you can see there the wings in that axe. So what that does, that lessens the amount of material, the amount of steel that's dragging through the wood. So the larger you can make those wings, even on a smaller axe, the less steel that's dragging through the wood. The other thing we do as well is, of course, that you can hollow this out, and that also reduces friction, or the amount of steel dragging through the wood. So that is a typical chisel ground axe, okay? So you can see here, and actually I used my German machines and polished it all up, so you can actually see your reflection in it. But that is a chisel, so it's about a half-inch to, it's a little bit more than a half-inch chisel the whole way along that edge. Okay, so you can see that half-inch chisel out there. So that's my old chisel. And I'm hoping, we're chopping pine out here, West Coast pine. It's a little bit dry. So we're hoping that it actually will chop that well. Chisels typically chop pine pretty decent. Now, this is my next one. This is called a kingi, a Tuatai kingi axe. And you can see the wings in this one really clearly. Okay, they're all carved out to give less drag in the wood. And you can see there's actually a 1/4-inch chisel on the end of this axe. Okay, so there's a 1/4-inch chisel. It's a little bit wider, so this axe here, my other one's a little bit smaller, so it's good for springboard. for making pockets in my pole. This one here, from here to here, from the heel to the toe, is actually almost 7 3/4 of an inch. So it's got a wide chopping face, so it'll cover a lot more of your block. Okay, so that's my kingi. It's a 1/4 inch chisel. So it chopped the wood out in Kitchener not too bad. It was the same basic wood. Now this here's a different axe here as well. This is my new one. So this axe here, again, it's made by Tuatai in New Zealand. If you look on it here, it says it's ground out by Fave Sefo, and Fave is an axe finisher down in New Zealand. But there's two things here you can see on this axe. Okay, you can see the chisel out on the end, but then you can see the banana shape here. Okay, so I got to set that down so we can see it. So right along here, we can see this is actually a banana shape. So it's similar to a flat grind, and a flat grind is just basically flat from your edge of your axe right back here to the top of the eye. So that's a flat ground axe. It's a fairly straightforward one to grind, but it doesn't always work good in different woods. So this one here, where it has the chisel on the end and a banana, is called a super grind. And super grinds became pretty popular about 15, 20 years ago, and they chop pretty nice. So this is a fairly new axe. I've used it in popple quite a lot, and the super grind, this one here in particular, it's a 14.5 degree super grind. It chops popple really nicely. So that's axe number 3. Now axe number 4, this was a new one to me last year. I needed a couple of new axes. So this here is a 3/4 inch chisel. So this here, and in the pine, I expect today this will be the axe that I run. All right. And you can see, the other thing I didn't mention about this, all of our chopping axes have a pin here, a roll pin. There's a hole for a roll pin. We drill right straight through that. You can see, if I hold it right, you can look right through the axe. There it is right there. Okay, so that's a spring pin that holds the head on in case your wedge comes out on the top. And then that'll still hold it on, keep people in the crowd safe. Okay, so that's another chisel. And again, you can see my box is pretty much full of chisels because we know we're chopping West Coast pine. Now, the last axe I have, this is my boys. Now this here is just a straight banana. So when I show you this one, you can see there's just all there is on the end of that is a banana. So the German machines are polishing the axes up really pretty. Okay, so there's a mirror finish on those. That's the banana on the end. And then all of our axes out on the very end of these, like once we have the basic grind, this is banana, it's ground out to here. My chisels are ground from the 3/4 of an inch out to the edge, or 1/4, whatever it is. But then on the very end, if you look really closely at this axe, you can see out here, there's a 1 millimeter, it's another little bevel, a micro bevel on the very edge. And what we do to finish our axes for competition is we'll take a stone, usually a Norton stone, and we'll go back and forth on that 1 millimeter edge, because you want that nice and true right out to the point. And what you'll do is you'll file that back and forth till you get a little wire edge, or stone it back and forth. Once you get a little wire edge out there, you'll basically flip the axe over and then stone the other side 5 or 6 times, flip it back over, and you basically are flopping that wire edge back and forth until it comes clean. Once it comes off of there, that's the keenest and sharpest edge you'll ever have on an axe. So what happens is we do that over and over and over again, and that little one, when we start with it, the 1 mil is straight out to the edge. But every time you do it, you take a little bit more off, a little bit more off. So you wind up after 6 or 8 shows, rounding that 1 millimeter micro bevel on the end. And then you have to clean it up again and actually take a stone, flatten it out right into the point again, and then you go over that again. So you can get away with that, I don't know, 3, it depends how much you stone your axes. But at some point in time, you got to return that nice sharp edge onto the axe. So that's our axes. So I'm going to pack these back in the box. This is going to be a 2-part series. There's my old axe there. So, and the way these are packed in the box, I should show you this too. So to keep our axes safe, because of course we're traveling on planes and stuff, you can see there's a little teardrop shaped hole here. Your axe just fits in that, of course, and it keeps it up off the bottom. Now I have hockey pucks in the bottom of mine, all cut in half, that I'll show you my old buddy. I'm an old timer here, okay? I'm the oldest guy competing here at the Stihl Timbersports Finals, but here's my buddy Wayne Lightning Paulson. He's from Edmonton, Alberta, and he's here as well. He's just a year behind me, so we're the old farts here competing today at the Stihl Timbersports National Finals, and we're headed out. We're just packing up our axe boxes now, so I'll put the lid on this, put it on the trolley over here, and we'll go out. And the second part of my video today is going to be testing the axes in the pine and seeing which axe chops the best. So this may help you if you got an axe that's not chopping really well, explaining what you want to look for as far as what axe is going to chop what wood the best. Okay, so this part one done. Come back again. I'm going to have part two on in just a bit.